Welcome to Honestly Rated, and today we'll be talking about your favorite sludge maker, Dr. Krankcase. I think Dr. Krankcase is our third villain we're taking a look here on Honestly Rated, and he's one of them that I really just don't care about. It's not like I hate the guy, I just didn't really care about him in Trap Team. But someone said their birthday was coming up and they were gonna get him, which is kinda cool. In 2025, you don't really expect people to say they're getting Skylanders for their birthday anymore. So we're gonna take a look at Dr. Krankcase, his moves, and design to see if he was honestly ever any good. But before we go into the gameplay, let me give you his lore. Like you should know, Dr. Krankcase was a villain in Trap Team. He and a couple other villains got the choice to either stay in the prison and stay bad forever or turn a new leaf and become better. Dr. Krankcase took the offer to become better, and his task before he could actually become a Skylander was to arrange all the books in the academy, which took him around 2 years. But after he was able to get all the knowledge from these books, he knew his ABCs of shooting and became the quick shot sensei. With the lore out the way, let's go take a look at Dr. Krankcase and see how much of a mess he can really make. Starting off, we have goo guns and spin doctor. Funnily enough, Dr. Krankcase as a sensei is probably one of the weaker ones I've seen. His goo guns do 27 damage, and he also leave like this little green puddle of vomit on the ground. Sadly, this doesn't do anything. It's purely there just for aesthetic. Then he can also do his little spin doctor move, which spins his legs around. This pushes back enemies pretty far. The only problem is that it does like 15 damage, which if you're in a room where you can't push anybody off the ledge, that damage is kind of crazy. And it's kind of funny because most senseis do a lot of damage right off rip. It is kind of funny that these acidic puddles that literally bubble don't do a damn thing for right now. But I guess that's what upgrades are for. And good thing we're going on to the next with Hatbots and Splats all, folks. With these upgrades, we now have our third move, our little Hatbots. Now, we can only summon one, and he doesn't do a lot of damage. Now, something cool about this little guy, too, is that if he survives long enough, he becomes a terrorist and absolutely bombs the hell out of anybody in front of him. Now, this actually does pretty significant damage at 90, so make sure you're not spamming these guys anytime you can. Make sure you let their little life wither away so they can bomb blow at anybody they see. Another cool thing is that our goo can now be kind of meddled with. You know, Dr. Krankcase as a character doesn't really care about getting dirty, and he likes playing in the mud pit a little bit. And his version of the mud pit is, again, whatever fucking green goop this guy has. Anytime you spin inside of this green goop, it'll deal 73 damage to any enemy that's kind of near you, and then also apply some like little green filter on them that pauses them for a little bit. It's a very minor pause. This isn't really something to talk about, but it does happen. Now, I will say, I don't think his damage output was really that crazily increased, other than his Hatbot, again, just exploding. But again, we still have more upgrades to look at. So I will say, it's still kind of slow killing things. But with the next upgrade, it'll be a lot easier. And the name of that upgrade is called All Spun Up. And we also have Hattacular. All Spun Up allows us to spin up all our little guys and make them go kaboom. Now, they could go kaboom before, but it would take a while, and sometimes enemies would just kill them before they could. Now, we can spin them with our legs, and they will just automatically explode. Kinda. They do like their own little spinny thing, because, you know, they're just trying to mimic their father. And then eventually they go kaboom. I honestly like this upgrade a lot. I think it's one of his best, just because the hats themselves, again, do a lot of damage when they explode. And they also cause a stun. And then for our last upgrade, we're able to have 3 little hat guys at once. It's nice family bonding time. The only thing I can really say about these upgrades is that for one, it's nice having 3 guys down, but it also takes pretty long to put these 3 hats down. Then we go on to the greater good path, where we have caustic effect and gooing big. Our puddles are finally no longer cosmetic. You know how they bubble and, you know, just look overall disgusting? You would think they would burn enemies, but they haven't since the beginning. But finally, with caustic effect, they now burn with every inch that they got. This has a lot of offense to Dr. Krankcase, and it makes killing things so much quicker. But our offense could be even higher, and that's where going big really shines. Going big lets us have bigger slime bubbles, so we can drench every enemy just like they do in Nickelodeon. At least I think they still do that. I haven't watched TV since I was like 9. This lets our damage be 37 per hit, with 27 damage being done with the puddles. You absolutely shred any enemy with these single 2 upgrades, and it is bloody amazing. Then for our last one, we have good weather. Now, I don't know about good weather. I think me and Dr. Krankcase have 2 different definitions. I usually like when it's like a little bit sunny, maybe a little cold, but it seems like he likes the doom and gloom of acid rain falling from the sky. The way you activate this is just by spinning inside your puddle, and when you do this, it just explodes into 3 smaller ones. These all still do the acidic damage. It doesn't really go that far, but it allows you to stack up a lot of puddles really quickly, even though, you know, Dr. Krankcase could already do that since he's a really fast shooter. So I don't really know how to feel about it. It's cool, but it's also kind of a nothing burger. Now we go on to Builder of Bots, where we have Hatbot Havoc and Goo Bots. Dr. Krankcase got better at his hat throwing technique and can now throw 3 of these bad bad boys down at a single time, and have up to 6 also at a single time. I will say this path is a lot more chaotic fun than the top one. The top one is kind of boring but just does a lot of damage. Having 6 of these little guys just run around smacking shit, and if you wind them up, spinning and fucking exploding everywhere, it's just really fun to see. Another thing too is that anytime these bots expire or also explode, they'll drop a goo puddle. Now personally, I find this to be a pretty boring upgrade and not one that's very useful. Again, Dr. Krankcase is a fast shooter. Remember, he knows his ABCs about quick shooting, so having these guys just drop a little puddle on the ground really doesn't do anything. I guess it's nice, but I can confidently say that you will probably never notice that these guys were actually dropping the goo puddle unless you just for some reason aren't able to shoot. Then we have for our last one, Goo Wouldn't Believe It. Just like Namor turrets in Season 2 of Marvel Rivals, we can supercharge our little friendly guys with our goo. This makes them go absolutely berserk, do more damage, go way faster, and overall be a lot more problematic than they were before. If you for some reason don't want to wind up your guys, this is definitely the best choice to go with, because they actually seem like a problem in their natural state. But again, they're even more of a menace when they explode, so no matter how attached you are to these little guys, you just gotta let them explode, man. Then for our soul gem, we have Shot Goo the Heart. This allows us to charge our cannon and shoot one gigantic snot bubble at anybody that comes near us. It leaves a trail of vomit also, and it does a shitload of damage. I will say the bottom path kind of messes with this upgrade though, for the reason being is that if you try to supercharge one of your bots, it will literally just take the whole bubble, which is pretty annoying. But luckily this thing is so fast charging, you can fire these bad boys faster than you can say Dr. Krankcase even once. Then we also have our Skychi power, Goo Goo Gashoot. Other than the name making me sound like an absolute fucking toddler, this Skychi is like, alright, you spin around, you shoot a bunch of shit, and then you do one big explosion right at the end. These don't go into my rankings, but I like to show them off just so nobody says I missed a move. And there we go, we took a look at everything that Dr. Krankcase has to offer, and now I can give you my honest rating of him. Dr. Krankcase as a sensei, I won't lie, is pretty boring. There's a reason why this video is probably one of the shorter ones I've ever made for Honestly Rated, and that's for the reason that a lot of these moves can be explained really quickly. Yeah, he does a lot of damage by the end of it, but at the same time, a lot of the upgrades just like weren't really cool. Like, come on, the robot putting down a goo puddle. One upgrade was the acidic puddles, which, again, I feel like that should have just been from the get-go. But I can't deny he is strong. I think his top path is definitely like a more powerful version than the bottom one, but I think the bottom one's a lot more fun. So it's really up to you which one you want to go with. But for my honest rating on him, I'm gonna give him a 3.5 out of 5. Thank you guys for watching this episode of Honestly Rated. Let me know who you want to see next. If you want to see any other of these videos, I have a big playlist that's probably on the screen now and in the description. These videos come out every single Saturday. I know this one isn't, but you know, we don't look at that. But if anything like this happens again where I can't get the video out by Saturday, subscribe and make sure that you won't miss another one. And I hope to see you and everybody else in the next one. And before you say, yes, I will be getting a pop filter to make sure you hear those puzz a lot less. Peace.